Hello children, welcome to AIMS India's online classes. This is biology session. You are watching challenges in the agricultural improvement. Okay, we have been discussing about the manures in the past class, improvement in food resources. So there are different types of manures are there. The manures such as farmyard manures, compost, green manure, etc. The manures have several advantages and some disadvantages also. To compensate the disadvantages, chemical fertilizers have been used by the farmers, but there are many disadvantages of chemical fertilizers. Excessive use of these chemical fertilizers or the constant use of fertilizers affects the soil fertility adversely because the organic matter in the soil is not recharged and the microorganisms in the soil are harmed by the fertilizers, isn't it? They also led to water pollution if they are not absorbed properly by the plants and get washed away in the water bodies. So, therefore, precautions with respect to dosage and time have to be taken while applying the fertilizers. Okay. Hence, the short term benefits of manure and long term benefits of fertilizers have to be considered for favorable crop production. Okay. So, let us start today's discussion. To maintain the soil productivity, organic farming come into existence. Okay. So, in this type of farming, the farmers use natural manures and natural pest controlling methods, and they also practice crop rotation and mixed crop systems. In organic farming, the farmers use biofertilizers instead of using chemical fertilizers or natural fertilizers, and synthetic pyrethroids to get higher yields. Some microorganisms which are useful to synthesize nutrients from the environment or from soil to plants. Okay. So, these are called microbial cultures, or they are also called biofertilizers. Okay. Next, so these are called the microcultures or biofertilizers. For example, bacteria based, algae and fungi based these biofertilizers. So, bacteria based, if you take nitrogen phosphorus fertilizers or nitrogen phosphorus fixers, example rhizobium, Azotobacter, Azospirillum. Okay. And the phosphorus solubilizers, these are certain bacteria. Okay. Bacillus pseudomonas bacteria help in the phosphorus addition to the soil, and algae, nitrogen fixer algae, blue green algae, that is cyanobacteria. Okay. Nostoc and Anabaena, example Nostoc and Anabaena. Then fungi, phosphorus moralizers, solubilizers, these two are there, fungi. The phosphorus moralizers, example mycorrhiza, and phosphorus solubilizer penicillium fungi. Okay. So, these are the microbial cultures or biofertilizers used in the agricultural fields. So, generally biofertilizers are of two types. One is nitrogen fixers and other is phosphorus moralizers and solubilizers. So, observe the flow chart of different biofertilizers. Okay, just now we have seen. What do you find from the flow chart? So, there are certain microorganisms like bacteria, algae and fungi. All the living organisms are used here. So, what are the major nutrients synthesized by this? Means one is nitrogen, another one is phosphorus and another one is potassium. Okay. The biofertilizers are useful to maintain the soil health and productivity. Soil health and productivity can be maintained. Okay. So, these do not have the nutrients in them like organic manures. These biofertilizers do not have any nutrients. Okay. They synthesize the nutrients from the environment and the soil. So, that is the difference between organic manures and these biofertilizers. Okay. Next, these are also called eco-friendly fertilizers. Farmers eco-friendly fertilizers does not cause any harm. Unlike chemical fertilizers, these biofertilizers are very friendly with the environment and helps the plants to get the nutrients from the environment and the soil in which they are growing. Okay. Now, chemical fertilizers, if you take these chemical fertilizers are very you may have heard the names like urea, NPK, superphosphate. Okay. These are chemical nutrients and these are partially or completely synthetic or man-made fertilizers they are called. We have already seen that the plants get many of their nutrients from the soil. So, the quantity of nutrient in the soil decreases if the plants continue to absorb them. Same kind of crop if we grow in the same land, then automatically there is a deficit of these nutrients in the soil. So, we have also seen some ways in which the soils replenish their nutrient content. There is one other way in which the soils can receive nutrients by adding chemical fertilizers. Okay. So, the percentage of these nutrients differ in various chemical fertilizers. Okay. So, these chemical fertilizers, a farmer who uses a chemical fertilizer first checks how much of which nutrient he gets from that fertilizer before applying in his fields. Okay, here one table is given, the percentage of nutrients in different chemical fertilizers. So, let us go through urea. In urea, nitrogen, only nitrogen is present, that is 46% of nitrogen, urea, CONH2 taken twice. The next, superphosphate, it contains only phosphorus 8 to 9%. Okay, superphosphate, phosphate fertilizer. Then ammonium sulphate, it contains only nitrogen 21%, and potassium nitrate, it contains nitrogen and potassium 13% and 44%. Okay. So, ammonium phosphate, calcium ammonium nitrate, sodium nitrate, ammonium nitrate, they are nitrogen fertilizers. Then phosphate fertilizers, single superphosphate, triple superphosphate, dicalcium phosphate. Okay. Then DAP, diammonium phosphate, like that. Then potassic fertilizers, potassium chloride, potassium sulphate, potassium nitrate, and there are some complex fertilizers are also there. Okay. They are nitrophosphate, it is a complex fertilizer, ammonium phosphate, okay, it is also complex, nitrogen and phosphorus is present, urea ammonium phosphate, UAP. Okay. So, potassium nitrate is also complex fertilizer. A complex fertilizer is a fertilizer which contains more than one nutrient. Okay. Next, if we use 50 kg of urea, then according to the table 5, 23 kg of nitrogen, that is 46%, will be added to the soil. To get the same quantity of nitrogen, how much ammonium sulphate should we add? Okay. So, if 50 kg of superphosphate is added to the soil, how much phosphorus would the soil get? So, you have to do the calculation based on that table. Okay, but whether we use organic manure or compost or chemical fertilizer, it is not enough to know the percentage of nutrient elements they contain. It is important to know how much of this nutrient is finally available to the plant. It is also necessary to know which is the best time, okay, to provide the nutrients so that the plant can make the fullest use of them. Okay, right time, right fertilizer if we use, then the good yield the farmer can expect. Okay, we must also examine which is the best way to add the nutrients to the soil. For example, would it be better to sprinkle them in the field, or to dissolve them in the irrigation water, or to place them under the soil? So, what are there are different methods of applying these fertilizers. Okay. So, for the right crop, right method of applying fertilizer we have to, okay, otherwise the fertilizer may go waste. The method determines the effect. It is not necessary that the production of all crops increases equally if an equal amount of nutrients is applied. Okay. The type of crop determines the effect of the nutrients, definitely. So, some crops require more nitrogen, so nitrogen fertilizers has to be applied. Some crops like sugarcane requires more potassium, so potassium fertilizers may be applied. Okay. So, only one type of fertilizer may not be used for all types of crops. Okay. For example, the effect of applying nitrogen fertilizers on a indigenous rice variety Peta and a hybrid rice variety IR8 is shown in the graph here. So, let us observe this graph IR8 and Peta. So, this graph the amount of fertilizer and its effect. Okay, for nitrogen fertilizer applying for indigenous Peta variety, so only small amount it is used, then it shows the wrong effects, means it come down the yield. Whereas IR8 variety, this nitrogen fertilizer it increased, okay, the blue color one. So, what is the difference in the effect of nitrogen fertilizer in Peta and IR8? So, normally the farmer uses the chemical fertilizers to increase the crop production for his fields. So, for IR8 variety, the nitrogen fertilizer is very effective. Okay. For Peta variety, it shows downfall. So, the question is how much fertilizer should be added. So, the graph 3 shows the resultant increase in the crop production for the different quantities of chemical fertilizers. So, look at the graph and say whether the crop production will continue to increase as we add more and more quantities of nitrogenous fertilizers. No. Okay, to some extent it increased, later the quantity decreased. The suppose 120 kg of nitrogen per hectare are added to a crop of Sonora 64 wheat, a total of 5.3 tons of wheat will be produced. Okay. So, here also, here it is slightly shows some diversity, and here see total. Okay. There is a fluctuations in the usage of these nitrogenous fertilizers. If we increase or decrease, there is a effect on the production. So, optimum usage of these fertilizers are recommended based on requirement. On the basis of the table 2, they calculate how much of phosphorus and potassium will be absorbed from the field, by this wheat crop. It is advisable to add only nitrogenous fertilizers to increase the production. Okay, no other are recommended. What effect will this have on other nutrients in the soil? Explain with reasons. So, now let us consider the last factor relating to the crop production, that is crop protection. It is very, very important. Okay. Unnecessarily usage of these fertilizers will also affect the crop. Okay. Then what is crop protection? Crops in the field are adversely affected by many factors such as diseases, weeds and pests. It is important to protect the crops from these factors to produce high quality crops with minimal wastage. Okay. Weed and the weed control methods management, insect and pest control management, we are going to discuss now. Suppose we take the best variety of seeds, sow them at the correct time, apply fertilizers properly at proper intervals and irrigate a crop well. Will there be any obstacle in getting a good crop? No, to some extent, but there are many other factors are also there that affect the crop production. Let us look at some of them. Weeds. What are weeds? Weeds are the unwanted plants that grow along with the main crop and compete with the main crop for space, sunlight and nutrients. So, we often other plants grow in the field along with the crop plants. So, these plants are called weeds. So, do you know any names of these weeds in the paddy field? Yes, there are so many weeds are there which belongs to the grass, okay, like xanthium, gokru, parthenium, okay, that is gadar ghas, and Cyperus rotundus, motha. These are some of the weeds which commonly we find. What effect do weeds have on the crop? Okay, they compete with the crop plants for space, sunlight and nutrients. So, before trying to answer this question, discuss the following points in your class. The first one, how would weeds affect the supply of nutrients to the crop? They take the more nutrients. Okay, how would how they affect the sunshine availability to the crop? Okay, they compete for sunlight, they compete for space, they compete for nutrients. Okay, what effect will there be on the water available for the crop? Okay, so these are all the effects of these weeds. Okay, so that's why there are various measures taken to control the weeds, okay, such as some methods like mechanical methods. This include the mechanical removal of weeds by ploughing or using hand picking. Then chemical methods, there are certain chemicals are there called as weedicides like 2,4-D, 2,4-dichlorophenolic acid and atrazine. These are the chemicals which are effective in removing the weeds or in killing the weed plants. And biological methods are also there. This include the use of natural enemies of the weeds that destroy only the weeds and do not cause any harm to the crop plant. For example, use of cochineal insects for the removal of Opuntia phaeacantha, prickly pear cactus. Okay. So, intercropping and crop rotation also helps in removal of weeds from the farm. So, cropping on a proper clean seed bed and timely sowing of the crops prevents the growth of weeds in the field. Okay, processing of soil must be done. Okay, as the main crop plantings would grow ahead of the weeds in the field. Okay. So, insects and pest control also very important. Chewing insects will be there like caterpillars, locusts, sucking insects will be there like leaf hoppers, grasshoppers, aphids and bugs. Internal feeders will be there, they are weevils and borers. Okay. So, those must be controlled. How to control these pests means use of disease resistant varieties. One, the pest grown aggressively during the hot and humid conditions, hence the ploughing is usually carried out during summer to reduce the pest population, because their eggs will be deposited in the dead remains of the plants of previous crop. Okay. So, and the disease control is also very important. Okay children, hope you followed, read the textbook. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates.